everybody, and welcome to the Empty Nest Teacher channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you have watched a video or two here before, thank you so much for coming back. We don't take anybody for granted. Today I have one of my babies with me, who is not really a baby anymore. This is my oldest child, Malia, and Malia, and we just wanted to share a little bit with you about one of the experiences that she had growing up, and how it affected her. I told her she should write a book, but that's not on her list of things to do right now.
It's not for me.
To share her experience, like, with other young people who may be going through the same thing, or may have gone through the same thing, and may be encouraged by her story and her progress and all of that. So when Malia was younger, what age did it start? 9. You can see from the title of the video, what it's about. But when she was 9, she ended up getting a little bald spot, and I can't remember what side it was on, but it started at the back of her head as like a circle, and then eventually the circle got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it grew to the back half of her head that became bald, and then it kept growing up. And so a lot of people thought, especially when the back half of her head, was clean, they thought that, like, she had cut her hair and that was a style. And, so some people would even say, and these are adults, some people, she's 9, 10, 11, into her teenage years in high school. Some people thought, oh, why would she cut her hair like that? And then other people thought, oh, that's a cool hairstyle. I remember, different comments. So I just wanted her to share. I did ask her in advance. Obviously, she wouldn't be doing this if she didn't want to. But I did ask her, if she planned on sharing it on her own at some point. But she said probably not. So she'll share it on the channel with us today. So I just wanted her to let us know, go back to 9 years old. When that started happening, how did you feel? What were you thinking? And then just take us through, how everything went on.
Well, when I was 9, I remember the first bald spot. My hair, it was like just one spot. But then when I was little, it would just be a bald spot, and then it would grow back, and then another bald spot in another area, and then it would grow back and stuff like that. But it's I had went to a dermatologist around that time. I wasn't 9, but I think this was when I was 10 or 11. After a while, it kept happening. So I got they told me it was alopecia, and I didn't really know what that was. And then they was just saying it was due to stress and all that, and it's also genetic. But they would give me needles, and they would just poke it in my head and stuff. I guess that was treatment and stuff.
Acupuncture? Was it acupuncture? Some type of acupuncture?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I would just get it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so those needles were painful. And it wasn't like they took one needle and just stuck it in you. They would take one needle and just go like that all over my head, or in the bald spot, all over my head. So that hurt. And then as I got to when I was in middle school, when I was in middle school, it was in the back, but it started falling off on the sides too, and then when I was in middle school, I don't know, I really didn't, cause I've never had low self-esteem, and
which was a blessing.
Yeah, and even when I was losing my hair and bald, I still never had low self-esteem. I don't know, I'm not gonna say it never really bothered me. I had times where I was I didn't like the fact that my hair was falling out, but I went through every day like it was normal. Like, it never really, of course there would be people who would like stare and stuff, and I know why they're staring, and that would be uncomfortable. But I was never really, I can't say I was ever sad that I had lost my hair. I don't know. I don't know. Of course I wanted it, but I never. Now I think when I started to be sad about it, and I think I was only sad at this moment, was when I was a freshman in high school. I was just going in high school, and then it just all fell out. And then I had got this scar on my forehead, and I had to go to the doctor. But that's when I went completely bald. And I think like that night is when I had actually cried, because I don't think I actually really cried when I was going bald, or when I was like bald in the back and sides and stuff. I don't think I actually really cried about it until that night when all my hair fell out.
So we'll put a picture of what her head looked like here.
So yeah, I had I think that's like one of the times where I was like really sad about it, because like all my hair had fell out. And then with alopecia, your hair isn't supposed to grow back. Like they say, your hair, like when it's gone, it's gone. And so I just thought it just wasn't going to come back and stuff. So then I had the scar on my head, and my mom had to like clean it all the time and stuff like that, because what I had on my head, I just got it infected or something.
Yeah, so at a certain point, she started wearing wigs, like wig caps and all that type of stuff. And at a certain point, it like dug into her head, into her forehead. And so not only did it dig into her forehead, but it got stuck because it was not cared for properly.
I think
so
you have pictures of that too.
Yeah, we have pictures of that too. So we'll insert that here. So when that happened, that was like when, you know, that whole situation just kind of like blew up. And so, you know, she had to go to the hospital and all this type of stuff because somebody tried to take it off. And like things just weren't handled the way they should have been handled. And that ripped her skin open even more. And so she had a gash in her head, as you saw in the picture that we just put there. So, you know, keep on talking about what happened in high school.
So after that day, I had to wear like a cap on my, I never like calling it a wig, so I always call it a cap. I had ended up always having to wear a cap on my head. So, you know, I just wore these headbands and stuff because I had to wear a cap. And I think that was when it started hitting me and stuff, where, like, I'm not saying like I was crying every day, because I wasn't. I think it was when, like, I would go through school and like be paranoid sometimes, because, you know, I'm not saying that people, it's a habit for you to be walking through the hallways and people just pulling on your hair, but people are really playful.
Right,
so
and
like,
that did happen.
Right, so that's like, sometimes that's what people do, and, you know, they do it, and, you know,
not maliciously,
right,
but like playing. Do you remember that time when it happened at school?
Yeah, I remember.
So share about that.
So yeah, so sometimes I'll be walking through the hallways, cause, you know, around that time I had friends that they were just so playful and stuff like that. And when we're in the hallways, we walk in groups with my friends, and I would just walk through the hallway and be paranoid that someone would pull it, because I had on the cap. So it was this one time where someone did actually pull it, and I was walking with my sister and a group of my other friends. So yeah, someone actually did pull it, and I had just hid in I was by a classroom, but then after that I went to the bathroom, and I had just hid in the bathroom until I think my sister had called my mom, and I had just stayed in the bathroom until, you know, she had came and stuff, because, you know, stuff like that is embarrassing. Like, it didn't like fall off, like it didn't like come off, but it's like, with me being as paranoid as I am, I'm thinking, oh my God, now people know. Like, and then it being on my head, I can feel how far back it came. And then me still being paranoid, I feel like it came off, all the way off, but it didn't.
Right.
But I feel like in my head, it's like, well, it came off enough so that people know.
Right.
So it's like, all those thoughts was going through my head, and I was just sitting in the bathroom and all that until, you know, she was there. So that was one time where, you know, that had happened. And then other times it was like, even with track, sometimes
I was going to say, tell about how you felt on the track.
Right. Sometimes when I was running, it messed with my time because I felt like it was going to fly off, so I had to slow down. So I felt like I had to slow down in my races. So that also, you know, I think it had to do with me being paranoid, honestly. Mm-hmm. Not to say that it wouldn't have flew off, but because I always had my bandanas on, and I had them legs on tight. So honestly,
you were known for your bandanas.
Right.
You were known for your bandanas.
I came on with different colored bandanas and everything.
And then when you started wearing them, they were like, wait a minute, where's the bandanas? Where's the girl with the bandana?
I know. But I started wearing different, because I started wearing the, when I actually had my hair grew back, I started wearing the bandanas, but around my thing. Yeah. So, yeah, it affected me on the track, too, because I just felt like I had to slow down because it was going to fall off. And then it had started to grow back just a little bit, and I think it was my sister that she was actually the one that encouraged me to not wear the cap anymore.
And that was at the end of 10th grade.
Yeah, that was at the end of 10th grade, because like around it was at the end of 10th grade, because when I was a junior, it was like my hair grew back full blown. Like, yeah. And when I was a junior in high school, but it was my sister. Cause I remember the first day I stopped wearing my cap, we went to Lido's. I remember that day, cause me and Shalise had took a picture in the Lido's bathroom too. And I remember that day. Cause I remember what I was wearing and all that. I remember the Nike bandana I had put on and stuff. But yeah, it was actually my sister who encouraged me to
go ahead, Shalise.
who encouraged me to take the cap off, cause it's not like I had a head full of hair. It was like, you know, like fuzzy type stuff.
Right. It was really short compared to how long her hair was, like as a little girl growing up. So like her hair, and then the grain of her hair is like curly. So even with the short hair, you know, it looked even shorter because it would curl up. And
that was my first time like actually just going out with short hair, because even when we was little, our hair has always been long. Right. Like, we never had short hair. We never really got it cut. And even when I had the cap, it was a long cap. It wasn't a short cap. So I had, like, that was my first time just going out with, you know, just short hair.
You remember when you went to practice for the first day? When you went to track practice for the first day with your short hair?
I don't.
So we went out there, and Coach Haraway was like, okay. Oh, because he knew what was going on.
I remember. Oh, yeah, I do remember that day.
He knew, yeah.
I do remember that day. I remember. That was funny. I remember that because you had told me about it. So, yeah, then I had started wearing it, and then, you know, yeah, and even around that time, like, I've never gotten bullied before, but that one time I had went to school, I wouldn't even count this as bullying, because it was just because, you know, stuff had happened where, you know, people just acting how they acted. You know, they would just talk about me and stuff like that. And it was only one person, because everybody else there, you know, they was liking it. But you know how people can get, you know. So, like right when I had stopped wearing the cap, you know, some people had, you know, something to say about it, and, you know, all that. But, you know, I didn't really pay no mind. Of course, like, you know, I'm not gonna say it hurt me, but it made me think, you know, I don't know, like, it made me think something about, like, maybe I shouldn't have took it off or something like that. Like, you know, it made me feel some type of way. It didn't make me feel good about my hair or myself and stuff. So then after that, my hair started growing back, and I started I still was wearing the bandanas and the headbands and stuff because of the scar. I was still paranoid about the scar. Like, nobody knew about the scar on my head. So then I think it was senior year, that I don't know. It was just one day I decided I wasn't gonna wear. Like one day I just decided I wasn't gonna wear it no more, and no, it was Shalise again, because she went with me to the barbershop that night to get my hair cut. Because this is when she had her car and everything. So
is this the first time you got your hair cut or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the first time I got my hair cut was the first time I stopped wearing the bandana. Like, was the first time because I didn't stop wearing it until I got the haircut. So,
because at this point, guys, you know, her hair started growing back like mad, and like she had like a big old bush.
I can send you a picture of that too, because I still got one.
Okay.
The bush with the bandana.
So we'll put that picture here.
So then, I was just sitting, like, well, I had always been talking to my sister about, like, sometimes I would just be on my phone just looking at different types of hairstyles and haircuts and stuff, and I would always tell her, I think I'm gonna get this, I think I want to get that, but in the back of my head I'm like, I know I can't get that because like I got the scar and stuff like that, so I was always paranoid about that and the scar and all of that. So then Shalise again just convinced me to go ahead and just take the bandana off. So she went with me to get my first haircut, and it was so I'm not gonna say cute, but like I appreciate her a lot, because it's like every time I do stuff or stuff that I may feel uncomfortable with, or you know, anything, it's like, of course my mom is always there, but she's my twin. Like, she's always there. Like, she always
been there.
Right, like she's always there. Like, she's the one that always makes me, you know, feel comfortable and, like, you know, comforted and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
when I went to get my haircut, you know, when somebody get their haircut, they normally have seats on the side where your, like, the person who takes you or is with you can sit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she brung a chair from that section, and she sat smack beside me when I got my haircut and held my hand and stuff. And like, she was telling him what I wanted, because I was just so nervous. So she took my bandana off, and then she was just telling him, showing him the picture, you know, was and you know how Shalise can get. When I was getting there, she was like, okay, Millie, okay. You know how she can get. So right. So I was just getting all excited, because like she was just getting excited, and I couldn't see what he was doing because there was no mirror in front of me until after.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, she was right there, and then after, I had just liked it. So then after that, I had just started, you know, just getting haircuts and stuff like that, and yeah.
And so, you know, she is, you know, comfortable with herself, and like she said, she never had you know, issues with how she, you know, her self-confidence and all that type of stuff, except for, you know, some situations where you know, people were acting crazy and acting dumb, you know, in their treatment of her. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about that really burned me up was not the high school kids or other kids, it was the adults. And so, you know, as a warning to adults, you know, when you're dealing with children who may have alopecia, and sometimes, you know, obviously everybody didn't know you had alopecia. So, you know, I know that nobody knew you had alopecia. But my thing is, a lot of people made judgments about you. You know, why does she cut her hair? You know, she wants to look like a boy. You know, that type of stuff. And that burned me up, because I'm like, you don't even know the situation. And didn't inquire about the situation. So, of course, you know, I'm in mommy bear mode. Because as adults, you know, why would you say things, you know, to or about a child? And so I didn't appreciate that, you know, and certain people, I let them know that, because I don't play when it comes to my kids. I let them know that, because not just for you, but my thing is, if they're saying the things they said the way they said them, that means you'll do it to somebody else, you know. And I had to let them know, like, you don't even know the situation. This was not a choice that she made. Oh, let me just go cut my hair. But because they didn't know that, you know, they didn't, they made a judgment. But that's not right. You know, if you don't know somebody's situation, then, you know, basically be quiet. Be quiet. Like I tell my students, I do like this to them. I've said it before. Mind your beeswax. Mind your beeswax. Because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And, you know, unfortunately, she had to deal with some of the repercussions of not just some of the other people her age, but, you know, some adults as well. And so I just think as your mom going through that, you know, that just really got me boiled. I mean, I was boiling hot when it came to certain situations or whatever. But you handled it amazingly well. Like that whole, even the times you cried and stuff, of course you're going to cry. You know, you were a child and all that type of stuff, especially, you know, you're a girl in high school and all that type of stuff. Of course, it was going to affect you to a certain degree, but you didn't let it affect you where you just didn't want to do anything. Like, you know, as an athlete, you could have been like, I don't want to be in front of a whole bunch of people anymore. Because where we, in the county or the district that she went to school in high school, she was like a state champion in multiple events and stuff like that. Even some of their relays, she and my daughter were on the same track team and on the relays, 4x1, 4x2, 4x4. And they were state champions in some of those relays, as well as some of her individual events. She was a state champion, county championships, regional championships.
I think even when I went to nationals,
state championships, national. Yeah, she qualified for nationals, and I told you she was an All-American in the heptathlon. So, you know, these weren't just, oh, I think I want to run track just for fun. Like, you know, they were trying to run in track for real, for real. So, because, and I said in the previous video, because a lot of people knew her, and we're not sitting up here trying to say, oh, like everybody in the state knew her, but a lot of people knew her. Because a lot of the officials and even opposing coaches and all of that really either they liked you or they didn't like you.
That's what it was.
So it was like, it was no like gray area. There were a lot of people that loved her personality. I said before, because of your sportsmanship and stuff like that, and your respect for the sport, your respect for the officials, your respect for other people, even your you know, opposing competitors and stuff like that. A lot of people respected her, but then some people just didn't like her because they couldn't beat her. And some coaches, some adults did not like her because, you know, their athletes or whatever couldn't beat her. And so that's a whole nother story about some of the things that, you know, people did to try to push her buttons. You know, in order, I think it was to have you react so that you would lose the opportunity to compete, you know, and stuff like that. You know, and so, you know, a lot of foolishness like that was going on. But she held it together, you know, amazingly well. And that is on top. So the competition, you know, that she had to deal with was on top of all this emotional stuff that she shared with you. So it didn't matter, you know, because people didn't know, and I get that. But my point to this is, whether it's your peers or whether it's an adult talking about a child, you have no clue what that person is going through. So for you to, you know, talk about people and taunt people and try to make them feel bad with your actions or with your words is crazy to me, because, you know, you have no clue what they're going through behind closed doors. And so you don't know how it's affecting them. You don't know, you know, how much it's taken for them to hold it together, for you to see the person that you see. You know, you see a person and you might not know they're going through that because they're trying to hold it together, and they could be holding it together by a thread. You know, you just never know. And so, and I'm getting, you know, worked. I'm getting worked up, y'all, because this conversation is taking me back. And so, you know, it was a mess. You know, certain things were a mess. But like I said, she did really well with it. Even in times where, like, it got physical, like people, you know, on the track, you know, were trying to challenge her and try to do stuff on the sly, you know, to challenge her physically, you know, pushing her or, you know, stuff like that. And we had to, you know, get involved, you know, on the coach, because I was a coach. You know, I went to the officials like, look, you know, like, get it together. So I was like, you know, you guys are going to have to address this, you know, and people knew what was going on. Like some of the officials even knew what was going on, and, you know, they, you know, eventually addressed it and everything. But like I said, my bottom line is you never know, and this can go for anything. You know, Malia's sharing her story about, you know, having alopecia from the age of 9 all the way up through junior year, and it affected even reaching into senior year, so like 9 to 18. And so, and you know, you don't know. That's the bottom line. You just don't know what people have gone through to get to where they are, and to get to who you see them to be. So just be mindful of your words, be mindful of your actions, be mindful how you treat people. I often, you know, I've tried to raise my kids with the golden rule. You know, I don't even have to be super spiritual about it. Of course, you reap what you sow. That's the Bible. But right, treat people like you know, treat others like you want to be treated. It's the golden rule. You know, think about if this was me, you know, how would I want somebody to say this to me? How would it make me feel? And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't, you know, put themselves in, you know, another person's shoes before they speak or before they act, you know, against that person. So I just, you know, warn you and encourage you to just treat others like you want to be treated. That's the bottom line. Just remember the golden rule. Or if you're churchy, if you're, you know, in church like me, remember that you reap what you sow. So what you put out there, you know, it's going to eventually come back and affect you. It's going to eventually come back to you. And, you know, if you're putting negativity out there, if you're, you know, bullying people, you know, whatever, you know, it's not that you're going to get bullied right back. It doesn't always work like that, where it's a boomerang, where the same thing that you put out comes back to you. But, you know, eventually we have to pay for that. And so, you know, I try to live my life like that. I'm not trying to bully anybody, because it's enough to keep myself together. And I try to teach my kids that. And I think they've done well with that, which is why, you know, you do an amazing job with your sportsmanship and stuff like that. So whether she wins on the track, whether she doesn't win on the track, you know, she's still, you know, going to dap people up. Well, not now during COVID. Maybe you'll elbow somebody up. But, you know, she would still, you know, help people up if they fail, and, you know, all this type of stuff. It didn't matter, you know, whether she won or not. Of course she wants to win, you know, wants to win bad, and she does win. But, you know, I would like to think I had a hand in raising you to be, you know, such a wonderful person when it comes to stuff like that. And I think you root for the underdog too. Like, you know, she encourages people that, you know, may not, that's another thing that I love about you. She encourages people that may not, you know, be seen as on top. They might not be the fastest, they might not be the best at what they do, but, you know, she will encourage them and she will befriend them. So while a lot of people know who she is because, you know, she wins and she does an amazing job, you know, she also will befriend those that a lot of people may not know, and will encourage the people that everybody, you know, doesn't pay attention to. And so I really admire that about her. So I think that is it. Like I said on the previous video, obviously we're in the car going to pick up her little brother, my youngest child, who is in just finished his first semester of college. And so we're going to pick him up for the holiday break. And so he'll be on the channel along with Malia's little twin sister, who she talked about so lovingly today. And so you'll see all three of them on the channel within the next few days of Vlogmas. So today is December 14th. Obviously, we're in the same car with the same clothes on of the previous video. So I don't know if this is going to be a double day 14 or it might be Vlogmas day number 15 that I post. This just depends on what happens. Because by the time I get back home, y'all, it'll probably be around midnight-ish, I assume. And, you know, I'm not going to be trying to edit multiple videos tonight. And this one was kind of long. These videos are kind of long. Because Malia likes to talk.
I like to talk.
She likes to talk, y'all, as y'all can see.
Y'all know who like to talk.
But anyway, thank you so much for staying to the end of this video if you're still here. I appreciate you watching the videos. I appreciate your support. If you know anybody that would be encouraged by this video, please share it with them. Please hit the like button on this video. Please subscribe to this channel. More of these conversations are coming. And please hit the notification bell so that way when we do upload these videos, you will be amongst the first to know. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Isn't that sweet? Malia's helping her little brother. You helping your little brother? You helping your little brother?
Yes. He had to get his thing on the bed.
Oh, the blue thing? Look at her helping her brother.
Oh, dang, those are his shoes. Oh, that fit.
Okay, good. So the blue thing can probably fit in the...
He had to go back inside.
Oh, they're happy to see each other and acting crazy as usual.
What? Why are you recording that? Hold on.
Back together again.
My pants are falling down.
All that stuff I'm probably gonna go back. Cause when the post was good,
Will it fit? Okay. All right, Babsy, we missed you.
Who's we? I ain't missed me.
Ready to go?
All right, yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
All right, say bye, you and me.